Hi, everyone. I want to be very, very clear. We recorded this episode on Sunday, March 8th, and a lot of things have obviously changed since Sunday, March 8th. We are recording a follow-up to this episode at the end of the week, but I want to just be very, very clear. We recorded this podcast before the world fell into a global pandemic. So obviously some things have changed, but it's still interesting content and a conversation I'm proud of. So I hope you enjoy the conversation my dad and I had. And yeah, there you go. Enjoy the podcast.
I'm going to start bringing my headphones just so I look cool.
You'll have nothing to...
No one will know they're not plugged in. Just have the cord down there and I'll look cool with my
you just
headphones.
Want to feel, you want the feeling of headphones.
Yeah, exactly. And look cool.
Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is for you. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Zach Shomler. This is the Flawed Humans Podcast, episode 5. Joining me, as you heard him earlier, is my dad, Stephen Shomler. How are you doing, Dad?
I'm really good. I'm tired. I'm tired as F, but I'm really good.
We were supposed to record yesterday, and it was fine. I decided, hey, like my dad is. I know you got a lot going on. You're getting ready to go to Greece for how many? Like 11 days, something like that.
Going to Greece, leaving tomorrow morning.
How many days?
I'll be gone like 8 or 9 days.
That's a long trip, man. I just did a trip to New York, and I have so much compassion now for people going on trips. So like, yeah, I mean, with the last episode we recorded, right? It was literally, we finished recording. I put like 3 shirts in a bag, and we drove straight to the airport. I mean, within like 10 minutes, we were out of the house. Like,
yep, we were gone off to the airport. Now when I get to hear about the trip to New York?
Yeah, that'd be great. Can I say first though, like I know what you're going through. You got a lot of. I'm sure you're like, do I have everything? Like, are you packed yet?
No.
See, that's a horrifying feeling, right? Because you're afraid. I think I've learned in trips in the future now, I'm gonna try to pack like a week early, and then I don't need those clothes for the week, whatever it is, like, and because I'm so afraid, and I luckily went to New York, didn't forget anything.
So but that's my sweetheart Karen. That's what she does.
Yeah.
She packs 2 or 3 days.
That's what my girlfriend does too.
She packs 2 or 3 days early and then thinks about it. But I've got lists. Ken says when it comes to equipment, Ken Wilson, you need to make checklists for equipment. Because I've got all of my podcast equipment and my filming equipment in a rolling backpack in my shoulder bag.
Well, you've got a list of stuff you need, so you can go down the itinerary.
Yeah, I may not have clothes, but I'll have all my filming equipment.
Yeah, and you can. That's the thing. Like, when I went to New York, I was like, well, I guess if I need socks, I can buy socks. Like if worst comes to worst.
Yep.
And so, but that's a change I learned from New York, because I'm gonna definitely try to get packed sooner, and then like work, I can do work up until the end. But if I'm packed, I can have that done and have that relief kind of out of the way.
Yep.
Are you nervous for the trip?
Not at all. I'm super excited.
That's awesome.
I cannot tell you. Maybe after hearing about trip, I'll tell you some of the things I've gotten done and gotten ready and prepped for it. But no, I'll be so happy when the plane takes off tomorrow and I'm headed to Denver. I fly from Denver to Munich to Thessaloniki. When I'm in the air on the way to Denver, I'll like, okay, I made it.
It'll be like a big relief.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the story later about how they confirmed the trip, because it was horrifying.
Really?
Yeah, but I want to hear about New York.
What do you want to hear about? I have a lot to say, but I don't have
Start talking.
Well, no, I don't have a list of things. Like, you have to pull it out of me, I think.
Got it. Okay, so food. Of course. I own the Culinary Treasure Network.
Yeah.
I want to hear about the food. What was the pizza like?
Oh,
And
my gosh.
Oh my God. You ate pizza without a knife and fork. What happened? I saw that on Instagram story and almost fell off the couch.
Liz and I were in bed the other night, and we were just talking about the trip, and she goes, how many pieces of pizza did you eat? And I was there, I think 6 days. We counted 13 pieces of pizza in 6 days, which felt like not that many, because it's like only 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, like roughly.
That's all you need. 1 in the morning.
So
how was it?
First of all, it was incredible. My friend Suzanne lives, I stayed with my friend Suzanne, and she lives in Manhattan, like literally in Manhattan, up in a high-rise building. And so we were 3 blocks from Times Square, or from, from Central Park, and there was right around the corner. I mean, literally everything. Like, New York is so interesting because it's all micro neighborhoods. Like, you don't leave your area, like, because there's no reason to. It's such a hassle to go anywhere. And so literally there's everything we need within a 2 blocks radius. It's insane to me, like, how many things are everywhere. Right around the corner, there's a pizza joint. And oh my, I walked by it like every day because it's right next to the subway. I'm telling you, every single time I walked by it, I stopped and got a piece of pizza. And it was incredible. And pizza like fits New York so well because you're moving, you're going, you like don't sit down and stop. You're always going somewhere or doing something. And so pizza's great because it's a hand food. I mean, like I know I eat pizza with a fork and knife often. That's because I'm working and I'm writing. And you don't want to have grease your hands while you're trying to write notes for football. But when you're walking around New York, it's literally perfect. You fold it in half, you eat it, and you walk around. And, it was glorious.
So how about a dirty water dog?
What is that?
It's a hot dog in the dirty water.
I have no idea.
You had no hot dogs then. All right.
I did have a hot dog, but it was like one of the tourist hot dogs. Because like it's very clear the difference between there's tourist food and then there's local food. So when you're in an area like Central Park or like Penn Station, I had a piece of pizza in Penn Station, but it's definitely not the same quality. It feels like it feels like tourist food. It's not for the local New Yorkers, but the local New York pizza. I don't branch out a lot of time. Like I have like pepperoni's good and cheese is good, but in New York it's so accessible to have so much different pizza. So like I had a piece of pizza with broccoli on it, and like
that sounds terrible.
no, it was amazing. It was like perfect. Or my favorite one though was the buffalo chicken ranch with literal just ranch on it. Like I mean like it baked in. I don't know how they do it. The ranch isn't disgustingly warm, but it feels like it's cooked onto it, and it's incredible.
Okay, do you have anything else fun to eat besides? Do you have bagels?
No, I actually didn't.
Oh my
we had
goodness.
incredible donuts. Like I had Dunkin' Donuts for the first time in my life. New York's interesting. Like there's not a real culture of sit down. The only place you can really sit down at a coffee shop is Starbucks. And this is where I give credit to Starbucks so much. Like no matter where I've been in the world, I guess I've never left the country, but everywhere I've been in America, Starbucks is exactly the same. The drink tastes the same. It's the same environment. The table feels the same. I can sit down, use Wi-Fi, work. And I went to a Starbucks and worked for like 4 hours at a Starbucks, and it was amazing. But Dunkin' doesn't have that culture. Like you don't sit down at Dunkin' Donuts. You go get your donuts and you have a coffee, and it's great. And so I actually discovered I'm not as into frosted donuts as I thought I was. Like you have donuts with sprinkles, and that's kind of. But for me, like it was maybe like a maturing moment where I was like, this isn't that good, and I actually switched to the chocolate glazed donut from Dunkin'. Oh man, that's like I'm like I'm in my 20s now. Like I'm an adult eating a real donut.
Do you know why I eat donut with sprinkles on it?
Why?
Because sprinkles are for winners.
I mean, like, you know what I do keep doing though with donuts.
I just love donuts.
No, I know, but the thing that you and I have you put me onto this is I really recently have been getting the Franz like powdered donuts. And
my gosh!
And maybe like every
raspberry filled.
Yeah.
Whew.
And maybe every 3 days
are
I'll have
so
one for
good.
breakfast. Kind of like I guess I'll get often what I do is I get up and have a snack, do work for like 3 hours, then have a real breakfast later, like a second real breakfast with eggs and stuff.
So if you want to have amazing donuts.
Yeah.
So I land on Tuesday after next. I think it's the 17th, but I land Tuesday.
Sure.
At 8 p.m. And I leave at 8 a.m. and I land at 8 p.m. and I will be exhausted.
Yeah.
Because going there, I leave on Monday and get there on Tuesday. But coming back, I leave on Tuesday, get back on Tuesday. So I'm asleep all day Wednesday. I got stuff I got to do Thursday. Then you got Friday. Then you got Saturday. Then Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm volunteering and helping run the Baker's Dozen Coffee, Beer, and Donut Festival.
Coffee, beer, and donuts.
Yes, you get 13 pours of different coffee beers, and then you get pieces of 13 different donuts. From
Coffee, beer. Like
coffee, beer. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. And it's amazing, and I'm sure I can get you in, and you can legally drink.
Let's take my. I want to take my girl. That's the new joy in my life is like I get to bring my girlfriend to stuff.
So maybe she'll drink the coffee beer, and you
she'll
can eat
love
the
it.
donuts because you don't hardly drink.
That girl eats, and in the best way. Like she eats more than I do, and like she makes fun of me. She's like, "You eat like a bird," like, and makes fun of me for how little I eat.
You eat like a bird, but you eat all day long because you're working.
Actually, no, that's not true. I try to. Like on a good day, I have snacks throughout the day. Right? On a bad day, not a bad day, but on a really busy day, I'll eat, and then like a little bit in the morning, and then just forget to eat till like 11, like literally like from 9 to 11 p.m., like 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. I won't eat anything, and it'll be midnight. I'm like, I'm exhausted, and I'm hungry. Why am I so hungry? Oh, I haven't eaten anything all day, because you just get caught up in like doing the crap you love. Like, I don't know.
Okay, any other fun culinary stuff in New York you want to mention
Culinary
that comes to mind?
stuff. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, how dare you go to New York and have McDonald's or have like any chain? I mean, there's such incredible food in New York. Like I feel kind of sad for the people that go to New York and have this like Domino's pizza or have. I love a good Big Mac, right? Like nothing against it, but man, if you go to New York, really dive into that and have a local New York burger. Like that's what I encourage people. Is there's so many options. There's so much food. And I ran into a Domino's pizza. I'm like, how do you survive here? Like, who eats you? And I think it's people from like Nebraska that want the taste of their childhood. But like, I just got to encourage people. If anyone ever goes to New York,
eat local.
Yeah, and I mean, it's incredible. There's food everywhere in that city, and it's just so good and it's so well done. And I learned a new thing about coffee, by the way. You can ask for the children's temperature, which, like, you know when you get coffee and it's really hot? And it's like, I hate that because you burn your mouth and you can't really drink it for like 20, 30 minutes. I fucking hate that. Well, you can ask for the children's temperature where they give it to you in a drinkable temperature right off the bat. Oh, so happy. Like, made my day. When I learned that, I'm like, oh, coffee is now changed for Zach.
Okay, so now I feel like, since I've been tormenting you, when I'm in Greece, I've got to think about my top 5 dishes or meals so I can tell you about them. Top 5 items, so I'll be thinking. So we can report back.
I have way more to say. I mean, like, there's
about food.
Oh yeah, like I went to. I love, like, we'll get into how I felt about the getting around, but I really enjoyed walking around New York. I mean, it's fucking pretty. Like, it does wear off pretty quickly. I mean, it's always beautiful. Even after like 6 days, like, it's still really pretty. But definitely after the first 20 minutes are like, oh, and then after the 20 minutes, the shine kind of washes off. And okay, now I need to get somewhere. But it's really cool. I can't remember where we were. We were kind of by NYU. There's a really cool street. I wish I knew the name of it, but it's really pretty. It's really narrow. I mean, it feels like you're in like Italy or like one of those old town.
Like a canyon.
Yeah, and you just have, it's narrow on either side, but it was this row of like Moroccan food, teriyaki, like every cultured food you could possibly have. And we went and got Indian food and got some wrap. And I honestly had no idea what I was ordering. It said like, what's good? She said a thing back to me that I couldn't pronounce. And I said, give me 2 of those, right? And I got it, and it was this like wrap, and it was just like a roll. She called it a roll. It was a wrap for me is what it felt like. Oh my God, it was so good. And there was like a little bar there are 3 seats in the entire restaurant. It feels like a food cart that you can walk into. Literally, it's like so tiny.
Yep.
And we're in there. Suzanne's on the phone with work. I'm eating my thing, and she's taking pictures of me while she's on the phone, like talking loudly because that's New York. No one gives a fuck. And this other guy next to us is doing work on a notepad, and it's just this little tiny hot area that's beautiful, like wonderful. And I love it. And I really got to say, back to the phone thing, you know, in New York, you ever been in public and someone gets on the phone? Like here in Portland, if you're on the phone talking loudly in public, you kind of get looked at. You're like, can you take that somewhere else? Like, people are like, what the fuck, man? In New York, no one cares because they understand, like, there's not privacy. There's not a spot you can go to get privacy and get away for a phone call. So you just fucking talk about everything on the phone around everybody. It doesn't fucking matter. And I like it because I've always been the guy in Portland, like, I'll fucking talk on the phone. Like, I don't care if I'm at Winco. Like, I got to talk. Like, I don't care if I'm shopping. This is what I'm doing, and I got to do it, so I'm going to talk to the person. But in New York, I appreciate that they don't care if you do that. There's this openness and, like, no one's afraid to be loud or be themselves. And oh, man. I know I feel like I'm talking way too much and too quickly, but I just have to say, like, I have a fondness for the people there, right?
You liked the vibe and the culture.
I've never felt like I kind of fit in more. I mean, look, it was exhausting, and I'll talk about why it was tiring, but I really enjoyed it's competitive. It fucking is. Like, it's not an easy place to do anything, to survive, to make it, like. And I think my ego wants to say, like, oh, I could make it in New York. Hell yeah. I don't know. And that'd be fun to find out someday. I don't think I ever will because I think I can have a better life. Like, Cincinnati sounds peaceful and enjoyable, and New York sounds difficult and hard.
So I just released an episode of the Portland Beer Podcast, which is now the Craft Beer Podcast. But at the time I recorded, Portland Beer Podcast was Steve Ulp.
Yeah, Steve.
So he grew up in Montana.
Yep.
He left Montana and went to work selling wine in New York City.
Really?
And he lived there for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So then he came back to Montana, and on the podcast he talked about how hard it was to come back. And for him, you know, in Bozeman, you're surrounded by mountains, and he felt like in New York the buildings were the mountains.
Yep.
But he said the pace was so much faster. And he said in Bozeman, people work just as hard and just as long, but their pace is different and the intensity's different. And he had to learn to just chill. And he said it's so much easier to speed up than to slow down.
It is. It's New York taught me how to rest, and we'll get into that. That'll be really fun.
Oh,
and
interesting.
It's been a big, momentous change for me. I think I don't know if like my energy feels different today. I don't know if you feel like when you walk in the house, but like I feel recharged, and that's because I learned how to rest because of New York and how hard it was.
That's good.
It was a big change for me.
So we're going to Bozeman first week of June for Bozeman Craft Beer Week. And
Correct.
I want you to meet Steve.
Oh, I can't wait to shake his hand.
Hit it off. I think you guys will chat about both having been in New York.
Yeah.
And I think you'll like him. He's just a great guy.
Well, there's a stereotype in the West Coast where we're from. And I've said this like on Instagram, on Strong in Sports and everywhere, but I want to just repeat it because it really matters to me. Like, on the West Coast in Portland, people say New Yorkers are mean. And it's just not true. They're busy. They're fucking going somewhere. Everyone's on like a mission, right? To get to the subway or to get to dinner or to get to work, or like they're writing on their notebook. Like everybody's constantly busy, and they're not mean. They're just doing stuff. And you don't bother someone when they're studying for a test or when they're, and I think there's a harshness, but it's not out of a sense of people being mean. It's out of the sense of they're doing something. Why would you interrupt them? And as someone who works all the time, like, I get that for sure. I mean, I'm horrible at answering my phone, and I feel interrupted all the time. Like, you call me sometimes, and I don't mean to snap at you, but I'm like,
what do you want? I gotta work.
Like, motherfucker, like, I'm writing right now. What's up? And that's how New York is that just very aggressive. Intense is a great word. Fast, like, harsh, energetic.
But it's missional. They're mission driven.
Yeah.
It's not they're not just mean, they're on a mission, and they don't need distractions.
There's a sense of purpose in New York from everybody, and that's why I resonate with it, right? Like, I don't think everyone can make it in New York. I just don't. I know people that would go to New York and fall on their ass and not make it because they don't work hard enough and they don't have enough intensity.
You don't think the average Portland hipster would make it in New York?
Fuck no. The city would eat them alive, and I that's why I don't even know if I could. I think I'm pretty intense and pretty. Yep. I work my ass off. I think I could exist in New York. Like I could kind of do it, but would I be my happiest? I don't even think I could keep up, right? I think it kind of kills everybody that lives there.
Okay, so tell me about this rest. I want to hear this story.
At first, I got to say, we're in Uptown Manhattan, and it's really cool the way New York works. Like, I don't know if this is true, but this is my assumption, right? Is that the term downtown always refers to the biggest, like, downtown Portland is the biggest, tallest area of Portland.
Right.
And every city you go to has a, quote, downtown, and it just means the biggest industrial business area, like the tallest buildings with the most businesses kind of thing.
Or in a small town, it's the little hub.
Yeah, it's the center, though, right?
Yeah.
And in New York, downtown doesn't mean the same thing. If you're in Manhattan, it's like a long, like looks like a long, like a ruler kind of. It's this long strip of land, and uptown is the northern part, the upper part of town. Downtown is the lower part, the southern up and down. So on the subway, you can go to uptown or you can go to downtown. We were in uptown Manhattan, which is like the higher local. The highest part is kind of Harlem. We were kind of just below Harlem, kind of near the middle of Central Park, which is still uptown compared to, like, you see pictures of like Wall Street is more downtown.
Yep.
But my guess is that everyone went to other cities and were like, well, this feels like, because downtown is the biggest part of Manhattan, like the tallest buildings. I think the Empire State Building is there, Wall Street is there, and my guess is that people would leave New York and go to, say, Portland and say, well, how do we describe this area of Portland? My assumption is everyone said, well, it's kind of like downtown New York, so it's downtown Portland. It's downtown Cincinnati. It's downtown Tampa. That's my guess. I haven't looked it up. I have nothing to base that on, but that would make sense to me, the step of logic. So we're in uptown Manhattan, and I'm walking Suzanne's dog, which is really a cool experience, and everybody's at work. Like, every fucking person was at work, and I'm in this kind of Jewish neighborhood where mostly just people live, and there's bagel shops, but there were very few people. And it was crazy because I was walking, and it's slightly a little bit misting rain, and it's like 3 blocks from the Hudson River. And so I'm walking the dog, we go to the Hudson River, and there's nobody around. Fucking nobody. And it's crazy because New York is always busy. There's always people. And even even the slow, calm part of what I'm saying, well, there's still like 3 people around. You can still see human beings, but it was very calm. And it was a weird experience because I realized, like, despite all the busyness, despite all the craziness, the part of New York I was in felt like kind of serene and kind of slow. And I was like, this is wild and weird because you expect, and it was what you expect. But during the day when everyone's at work, the residential areas are kind of low key and quiet. And I had this moment of, like, you can hear the noises and it's kind of drowning out everything. And I had this moment of peace where I look around and I'm like, it's tall, it's pretty, it's loud, which I like because it drowns out your thoughts and all the noises. And I just felt a sense of calm. I was like, wow, this is weird. Now, the rest story comes from this, is that getting around New York is such a hassle. I mean, I went to MetLife Stadium, and MetLife is in New Jersey, which is across the river from Manhattan, and it's 8 miles away. And I think you live, like 12 miles from where I live?
Yep.
And it's no problem. You just drive to my house. Easy.
Yep.
Oh, hell no. New York, 8 miles is a mission. It's like an all-day thing. So, like, It's either you can either take like 3 different subways, like transfer, which means go, wait, then you're at MetLife. And then I think even then you still have to take like a taxi or something from the station to MetLife Stadium. Or you can take a bus, which is what we ended up doing, which comes only once an hour and it still takes like 45 minutes to get there. Or you can take like literally a $75 Uber to go only 8 miles, which 8 miles in Portland is like a $13 Uber. Like it's nothing. And so my point is that literally existing in New York is such a hassle and a chore. I mean, everything you do, going somewhere, doing something, drains you. And because you're never alone, you're always kind of bumping shoulders with people, or you're always around people. And that in of itself is kind of exhausting because you're still not like, when you go home, you take off your pants and you're sitting in your underwear on the couch, and that moment of just like complete not giving a fuck. You never really have that moment because you're always around people. You're still presenting a little bit, even if you're being yourself and relaxed. So New York just kicks your ass emotionally and just exhausts you. And so we got back, and it was, I think, Saturday night after the New York Guardians XFL game. And it was 7:30, which for me is 4:30, right? Because I'm on West Coast. I never left West Coast time while I was there. I would stay up till like 2:30 in the morning, go to bed, which I would have done. It felt like I just tried to stay on the same time zone because I didn't want to like get onto East Coast time, then try to come back to West Coast time. And so it was 7:30, really 4:30 for me. And I was like, I'm tired. I look at Sam like, you want us to go to bed? And so we just fell asleep at 7:30 at night and just went to bed. And the dog's laying with me on the couch, and I'm just chilling, and didn't wake up till the next morning. It was a big moment, like, oh my God, I was tired. I listened to myself, and I went to sleep. And you're laughing at me, but it was really like, I need to do this more often when I'm tired and beat. And so I got back from New York.
Wait. Are you saying that when you're tired, you need to go to bed?
Oh, yeah, but I just always struggle with that. I feel tremendous guilt all the time. Like, I really do. I mean, I struggle so much with that. Like when your body's telling you you're tired, but I'm saying I have work to do, and that wrestling, tug of war in my brain between I need to rest and I need to work is always a struggle. And it's going to be hard for me probably forever. But I've accepted, like, over there on that table, there's a list of 45 topics, which I plan to make in March. And I can't make all those at once, right? You have to just make them as you go.
One at a time.
And so learning, like, okay, I make as many as I can and rest. Make as many as I can and rest. And sometimes make as many as you can and watch an episode of Star Trek because you need it, and then rest, and then make more. Just learning that rhythm, right?
Yeah, I had a huge list of things to get done before I left for Greece, and I've just been checking them off, and then but I have to sleep because I can't not sleep.
And you can't just do 45 things in a row. You have to literally take breaks in between.
Yep. So you've covered that one? You got the rest covered?
No, I mean, I'll say, like, I got back from New York. And it's a 6-hour flight, and flying is, no matter how you do it, it's just tiring.
Flying is tiring.
Even if you sleep on the plane, you get back off the plane, you're still tired. You're not fully rested. And so Monday didn't do anything. Tuesday didn't do anything.
You rested and recharged.
But Wednesday still didn't make a video, and I felt incredibly wrong.
So don't say you didn't do anything. You were doing something.
But
you were resting and recharging.
Sure, but in my head, I didn't do anything. And I'm feeling like guilt is building as like Monday leaves and Tuesday leaves, and like Tuesday night I'm like, well, I'll do something tomorrow, right? And Wednesday comes, and all I did on Wednesday was fucking organize my clean clothes. Like, I did nothing still, and I finally unpacked my bag Wednesday afternoon, and I'm like, Jesus, dude, I need to do something. Like, but I didn't have anything. I just didn't have the do it.
The tank was empty.
Oh yeah. And so finally on Thursday, I record an episode of Ask Zach. And it takes all day, and it was slow, but I got it done, and I got it out that night. And then I'm like, well, shit, I still haven't watched any of the XFL. I watched one game because I saw it live, but I was busy like all week. I didn't, because of traveling to MetLife Stadium, didn't watch the afternoon game from the XFL on Saturday. Didn't watch Sunday because the Sunday was my last day in New York. I was flying half the day, and in the morning I got breakfast and went to B&H Photography, which we can get into later. But my point is, fucking Friday, yesterday comes around, and I'm like, I still haven't done any football watching, and my job is to watch football. Holy fuck. So on Friday, finally, I watched the previous weekend's worth of XFL games, and I watched them, and I finally put the video out early Saturday morning is when I recorded the podcast of the XFL Week 4 on Friday night, actually early Saturday morning at 3 in the morning. The video doesn't come out till 11:30, and by then, Week 5, literally the Week 5 game, or first game had already started. Like, I felt horrible. But it was like, well, I don't know. I was at the point where, like, I want to make this video and put it out. And
that's all you can do.
I did the best I could, right? And so so first of all, I feel like I'm talking about, I guess that's my role. Like when I talk about New York, it's my turn to talk. It makes sense. But I put out the video, and of course, one of the comments is like, "This isn't just late. This is fucking, you're way behind." And so one guy the rest were all kind, like, "Hey, glad you did it," like whatever. And I didn't expect anybody to watch that episode, but for my own sake, I'm like, I'd watched all the games, I did all the work. I'm not gonna not record the episode.
Right.
Put it out, even if it's late. It's better than nothing. And it was like, I don't know where I'm going at this, but I just wanted to get that out. Like I know it was late. I feel bad about it, but I just wanted to do it, and I was killed from the trip, and I think I'm learning that like this next week as work comes on, right? I have a lot of stuff planned and I'm ready to do stuff, but when it's 11 o'clock, it's time to start winding down and go to bed. And that's similar to that choice at 7:30 Saturday night, last Saturday, when it was like, hey, I'm tired and I know I have a lot to do tomorrow, and I know if I stay up till 4 a.m. tonight, I'm not going to get any stuff done tomorrow morning, so I better just go to bed.
You're going to Greece. I come back on Tuesday. I have nothing scheduled for Wednesday, which is crazy for me. I have one client I need to see that Thursday, so I'll go see that one client, and I'll make the appointment, and that's the only work I'm going to do on purpose.
Yep.
And then Friday, I have to see two clients. I'll see them at 12:30 and like 2 on Friday, and that's the only thing I'm doing Friday. I'm not going to edit videos. I'm not going to upload podcasts. I'm not going to be doing social media posts. I'm not going to be editing my vlog together for my trip. I'm just going to take that time off. And then my plan is, okay, Saturday and Sunday I'll get back to work, because I know from painful experience I'm going to need that time. But it's worth it because I can get to go to Greece, and I'm going to work my ass off in Greece. I mean, I've got everything booked. My downtime, they got some time where we're free on one Sunday and Saturday. I'm doing craft beer stuff. Going to do craft beer podcasts and craft beer filming, and, that's why I'm going to need that time. And so you just need to, eventually you'll start scheduling it.
Well, I think, so this fall, my plan is to go travel on weekends to watch games.
Yep.
And I have to accept now, like, there's no fucking way I'm going to record an episode Monday morning after traveling all weekend. It's just not. Maybe I can try, and if I do, great.
But maybe if you take Mondays off and do nothing on Monday, maybe you can record on Tuesday and put it out Wednesday.
Well, no, here's the advantage is that I can, my kind of thought in my head, and it's because I think there's a possibility I could, but I'm not going to, right? I think in theory, for like a week or two, I could probably record an episode Monday morning, be miserable and be tired and stay up all night. It would not be a good experience, though. And by week 3, I'm like, I'm dead. I can't do this anymore. So I think a better approach is to say, hey, like, say for example, I leave Cincinnati on Friday night. I go to Green Bay, Wisconsin. I watch some college football in the whatever place I'm at, like a bar, and I can write all day Saturday watching football, and then Saturday night enjoy Liz whatever bar is in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Sunday I go to a Packers game. Sunday night get home, like because it's not that far. You head home. And then Monday morning, I rest for a little bit, about sleep into like 11. And then 11, I get up and get, okay, what do I have? I have notes from Saturday from college football. I have a little bit of stuff, because it's not like I didn't follow what happened on Sunday. Let's sit down and organize some of my thoughts from the NFL games on Sunday, get some storylines lined out. And then, oh, hey, in like 6 hours, Monday Night Football starts. Watch Monday Night Football. And then Tuesday morning, I have notes from Monday Night Football prepared. I have Saturday from college football. I have Sunday stuff that I worked a little bit on yesterday. And maybe Tuesday by noon, I can record an episode and put it out for Tuesday afternoon, the drive home. And that's how I would do every weekend is let's recap the weekend on Tuesday, roughly afternoon. And I'll be East Coast time, so that at least gives me the benefit of, if I put it out at 4 o'clock on East Coast time, it's still 1 o'clock on the West Coast, which I love.
And then on Wednesday, you can record a Flawed Human podcast, for lack of a better word, and tell us about your trip.
Yep.
Not the sports side, but about the trip.
Yep. Well, probably Wednesday would be Flawed Human, which would be easy because it's just less work to prepare.
Yeah.
It's a conversation,
Yeah.
not me talking to a camera and mic for an hour and a half. And then I could do probably my hope would be on Wednesday night to record a shorter episode, which is like whatever little news is going on, whatever random thoughts I have that came up that didn't fit into the other episode, and a preview of Thursday Night Football. Then Thursday, I probably rest a little bit, do some work, put out some more videos, do some writing and prep for the weekend. And then Friday morning, I can talk about Thursday Night Football. I can preview the weekend, talk about what storylines I have going on. What should you watch about with Alabama or LSU or the Packers versus the Steelers, whatever the hell it is, right? And that's a good rhythm. Tuesday, shorter Wednesday, Friday morning. Like that's a very 3 episodes a week on that schedule makes sense. But any more than that is kind of impossible. I just don't know how. It's not feasible and not reasonable to try. And then the other thought is, I guess, because Ask Zach could be possible too. I could do like a Friday night Ask Zach, which would be fun, like, or Friday afternoon, whatever it is, and then put that out like Saturday morning. Like, that's also possible. Like not, but Ask Zach is not a giant burden,
right?
Because they give me the stories they want to hear rather than me trying to come up with shit. It's less creative, even if it is me talking and some creativity. So to do 4 episodes a week during NFL season sounds reasonable on that schedule.
Because you're traveling on the weekends.
Yeah, but anything else is impossible. And that's still rigorous and hard. And you notice I don't have really a lot of rest planned in there.
Nope.
So I think it'd have to be like Friday night rest, Saturday night with the girlfriend, get dinner and rest and hang out. Rest Monday morning and then rest a little bit on Wednesday, or I guess on Thursday morning before Thursday Night Football. That's the only way to do it.
So I think we've beat that horse. I think we're good.
Sure, yeah.
But you put one little thing in Instagram story that caught my eye from New York.
Yeah.
That I think will trigger you in a positive way. Triggering is a bad word. I think you will be exuberant. Talk to me about the speed of the internet.
Oh my gosh.
You had some pretty wicked upload speed.
Holy fuck. It's crazy, and it kind of is infuriating a little bit. Like, I'm sitting in Suzanne's apartment, and she had my download speed here is like 256 megabytes per second, whatever the hell, MPS per second, whatever that stands for, right? And then I have 25 upload speed, which is like fairly fast. I mean, it uploads.
Yep.
So my old place with my best friend's house had about 4 MPS upload speed.
Oh.
So, and that took about 6 to 8 hours to upload a podcast, which killed me. Here it takes about an hour and a half to upload a podcast, which is like way better. Like, oh my god, I'm happy, right? In New York, my hour and a half podcast uploaded in 6 minutes. 6 fucking minutes. What the hell is that? And the upload speed, which I have about 29 here, 400 and something.
The upload speed was faster than your download speed here.
Yeah. and that's Suzanne's apartment. I was like, what the? And then I go to Tom Grossi's house. He has 800 upload speed. 800 something. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with Portland? And I pay for like the best thing that is offered for a human being, like that's not Microsoft here. Like I pay a lot of fucking money for fast internet. I have the fastest you can get here, and it's dog shit compared to New York. Like what the fuck, man? So I don't know if maybe when I move to the East Coast it's better. Like I don't think Cincinnati will have much faster internet.
They're probably
than
on
Portland.
fiber.
Probably have something better.
Fiber.
Like it's just the options here are awful. Like the fastest option here is still terrible.
Okay, so what about so who's Tom Grossi for those that don't know?
Oh man, it was cool. Tom Grossi is a YouTuber. He has about 50,000 subscribers.
So he's a YouTuber, and he emphasizes what? He's a comedian?
Yeah, he does some stand-up, but he's got a Packers-centered YouTube channel. Like he's
okay. So his YouTube
Packers
channel
guy.
is about Packers.
Yeah, he does other stuff. Like he'll do some comedy stuff that's not sports related. He does whatever he wants, but his main thing is he does the Packcast, which is a Packers podcast. Like 95% of his videos are about the Packers. Then every once in a while he'll do like a Bears video and mostly NFC North stuff.
Yep.
Occasionally do other stuff, whatever his heart calls him to do, but 97% of his stuff is all centered around the Green Bay Packers. So I've actually had him on Strong Opinion Sports at times to be I consider him a Packers. I mean, he knows way more than I do about the Packers, so he's a Packers informant, and he tells me stuff, and we have fun. And so, but my coolest thing is I'm not really a watcher of YouTube. I watch very little. I watch like David Dobrik, and Tom Grossi, and that's really it. I mean, I don't have time to sit down and watch a lot of stuff.
You have all the time you want. You have 24 hours a
Fair
day,
enough.
but you're not gonna allocate it.
No,
You're
when
just not
I
gonna
sit
do
down
it.
on the couch, I'm not gonna try to watch YouTube videos.
Yeah, you're gonna either
Watch Star
chill.
Trek or watch football or read, and that's it.
Yep.
But Tom is one of the few YouTubers that I like watch. I mean, I love his stuff, and I love his approach because he's honest and he's got tremendous authenticity, and he's got a weird voice kind of like I do, and he owns it and he has fun with it. Like people call him Kermit the Frog. He's like, fuck yeah, I sound like Kermit the Frog. Like he doesn't care. He's unabashedly himself. He's got a really cool story. He's a teacher on the side. He loves helping kids. He's a great dude. His wife Jade's amazing. Like I'm just a gigantic fan of Tom.
So you got to go on a show.
Yeah, well, first of all, it was cool. Like about a year and a half ago, maybe him and I connected on social media, and he got on my show, and that was a triumphant, like, cool moment. Like, oh my god, like another guy, like Tom. I'm a fan of Tom. I mean, it's like kind of like, who are you? Like, what if Anthony Bourdain was like, hey, want to talk? It was cool.
Well, that would be scary because he passed away. But
fair enough. But like, you know what I mean? It was just a cool moment, right?
yeah, I understand.
And so getting to go to Tom's house and like, he did a brief series called Coach, which is a very silly, like, I don't even know how to describe it, like a silly thing, right? A series he did it's shot in his kitchen. So I walk upstairs and I meet his dogs and I'm like, oh my God, I'm on the set of Coach where he fucking filmed the YouTube videos. And then I go downstairs into like his lair and it's Packers shit everywhere. And I'm like, this is the set of where you record your show. Like, it was cool for me to like see it all in real life and shake his hand, give him a hug, have dinner with him, meet his lovely wife. Oh my God, Jade is such a great woman. And we did a 3.5 hour podcast.
Oh my goodness!
And I don't know. He actually might be breaking out. His plan is to break out parts of the conversation, which is
yeah. I should hope to God no one wants to listen to 3.5 hours.
Yeah, but I think actually and I hope he does. I don't know if I think he's a little too humble to put out maybe the best part of the show, which is really when we get into his story. Like for the first hour, we talk about me and some of my principles. Then we get into nerdy football shit, which like I actually think is the most boring part of the show. I mean, it's all good, but when we talk about the pack, it's just not. I don't care about sports the same way I care about his story. And the end, I was like, okay, time is winding down. I got stuff on my mind. I want to take advantage of this time. So I asked him about his job as a teacher, and he just gushes about the school system and how he really got fucked over by his job. And it's a sad, heartfelt story. And then we talk about how he loves the kids. And like when we're off air, he's showing me like pictures of his kids graduating. And like he's just so proud. And like he's like the guy that, you look back on your time in school and you go,
the teacher you wanted to have.
Yeah, like everyone has a favorite teacher.
Yep.
I have no fucking doubt he's everybody's favorite teacher. Like every person who went through his classroom at some point goes, I remember Tom. Mr. Grossi was the coolest. I mean, I'm sure like, because he showed me like a video of people, he was at graduation trying to hide in the back, and he's still got like 400 kids going, hi, Mr. Grossi on video. Like they all love him, but he'll never tell you that. I can just inference from the way he talks about it. There's no doubt his students love him. And it's kind of a shame. Like, I think at some point he'll be a full-time YouTuber. And it's kind of a loss to the world. Like, this great teacher is no longer going to be teaching. But even though he's a great teacher, like, his hands are tied. I mean, he's fucked. The education system is terrible. The more I hear about his journey, it's just heartbreaking and sad. And then the final part of the episode, I was like, okay, what about your wife? And we just had a really cool conversation about how his wife, Jade, supports what he does. She's not mean. Like, she's just a wonderful woman. And she is. I got to meet her, shake her hand, give her a hug. I love that woman. But the way she supports him is like, it's goals. I mean, it's like, that's all you want from your spouse is to like love you and support you. And they've been together like 9 years. And so I'm going on this passionate rant, but I'm such a fan of the guy. I love his wife. He's got a great marriage. They're coming to Portland, I think, this summer. And so
do I get to meet Mr.
Yeah,
Grossi?
my plan is like the six of us, me, you, Karen, your wife, my girlfriend Liz, and then him and Jade. We're going to go out to drinks and hopefully get a burger at Lardo or something. And because Jade, his wife, is like obsessed with Portland. She loves Portlandia and wants to see it for herself. And I said, well, the homeless people are terrible, but you should come. And so my point is, I'm just ranting now, but oh my God, I love Tom. I love what he does.
Okay.
And the last part of when we talk about him isn't really, I think it's the best, is that last hour about his journey and his wife and his marriage is like phenomenal.
So talk to me about MetLife Stadium.
It's ugly as shit. Like, it looks like an eyesore. Like, from the outside, it's like, and no offense, oh, look, New Yorkers, I love you. Like, and it's pretty on the inside, but man, on the outside, does it look like dog shit. It's all flat parking space and this ugly, like, weird, like, looks like a magnet from the outside, just and not like an attractive magnet, just this weird, like, ugly fucking square in the middle of this gigantic concrete flatness. It looks awful. Inside's kind of cool. The seats are like black and white checkered, so they just look fucking weird. But wow, is it like a temple for the gods of football? Like, you stand at the bottom and you look up. I got to walk on the field and shit, and like, and by the way, fucking, you better get me a field pass now to Seattle. Like, let's leverage. If fucking New York lets me on the field, why the hell doesn't Seattle? Okay, like that's got to change pretty quickly.
So give me a picture of that pass.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'll send it
hell
in.
yeah,
I'll
like,
work it.
Yeah, I have the pass on the table. Like, Seattle better pony up and give me a goddamn field pass. MetLife though is cool. I mean, first of all, when you're on the ground, you look up and it's just tall, and it's like some stadiums have like a big side and a small side, and No, the whole thing is like, it's just like a bowl. And I mean, like it's all the same height, all the way up, everywhere around. It's just a gigantic circle. And it's
Like
really
you're in the bottom of a tall cup.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's pretty cool. And the press box is like beautiful. I mean, it's people are nice. The staff is incredible. This guy named Vinny who lives on the Jersey Shore, old man working the elevator, was really cool. The staff is great. The press box is really pretty. The way they do interviews is really cool and classy. They got this like really pretty room where fans can sit on the outside. Look, they can't really hear, but they're through glass looking and can yell and cheer. Just for a day at work, holy shit, MetLife is awesome. I kind of made fun of it for being ugly from the outside, but inside's beautiful. The people are great, and the space where I was doing work was just wonderful. Like I really, really enjoyed it.
And so, fun thing, who were the two teams you saw play?
The LA Wildcats and the New York Guardians.
So then you got to ask both coaches at the press conference, after game press conference?
Yeah, I got to talk to Kevin Gilbride, the head coach of the New York Guardians. I got to talk to Luis Perez, who's like I feel like I say a lot of guys are my favorite quarterback, but it's because I genuinely love their stories. But Luis Perez, the quarterback of New York, has such a compelling... Do you know his story at all?
Nope.
He was a Pro Bowler, like an elite Pro Bowler in high school, who never played football in high school. Didn't play quarterback in high school. Played like tight end as a freshman, and then didn't play football in high school. He's now the quarterback of the New York Guardians. Like, how does that happen? So he walked on to a community college in Southern California, was the 8th string quarterback, who worked his way up to the 1st string quarterback, went from there to a Division II school, Texas A&M Commerce, won the fucking national championship, won the Division II Heisman Trophy, like Player of the Year, Division II, but like it's basically the Heisman Trophy in Division II. Goes from there to the LA Rams. When I was in, so my buddy Samson plays for the Rams, and he would tell me stories about how like, you know, the guy is coming to work at like 5 a.m. Like he's beating Sean McVay to the office. The head coach of the Rams, he was there before Sean McVay. He's passionate. He loves football. He works his ass off. And he's a guy who's all preparation. He really reminds me of Tom Brady as this little guy who just worked his way up into where he is. And I talked about it in my preview of the New York Guardians. I like Matt McGloin too, the quarterback. Like, and actually, the more I learn about Matt McGloin this year, the more I'm disappointed because I really liked his career in college, and he's kind of a gritty dude. I think he's a pretty problematic leader this year. Luis Perez brought stability to that franchise and was given the starting job from 3rd string to 1st now. Like, everywhere he fucking goes, he goes from the last to 1st. He does well. He always succeeds. I don't know why the hell he's not in the NFL. It makes no sense to me. But this guy, Luis Perez, is this fucking dude who like just all preparation. I got to meet him. I got to meet Josh Johnson, the LA Wildcats quarterback. He was pissed about losing. I got to meet Winston Moss, the head coach of the LA Wildcats. And that dude is so... have I talked to you about Winston Moss at all? Do you know the name?
Mm-mm.
He played in the NFL. He was an assistant for the Packers. And he's so expressive with his eyes. Like, taking pictures of him is really... You'd love to take pictures of him because he's so, like... Even when he's listening, he's just got this look of intrigue, or he's just very expressive and really fun to interact with. But he's so passionate, right? And I really loved interviewing him and getting to hear some of the stuff about him. And the coolest part... I don't know if this is where you were going, but the couple remaining games in Seattle I'm going to cover, guess who comes to town? The LA Wildcats and the LA Wildcats and the New York Guardians. So I get to talk to those people all again. I get to talk to Josh Johnson again. I get to talk to Winston Moss again, Kevin Gilbride, Luis Perez, and that'll be really fun to revisit those and go, hey, Luis Perez, last time I saw you, I said I'm a huge fan. I love your preparation. Let's revisit that. I really have a question about, I asked Luis Perez, you know, I said, what time do you get to the facility? And he goes, well, I live there. So, and I'm like, I should have asked, what does that mean? I'm going to fucking follow that up in Seattle. Like, dude, what the hell do you mean when you say live at the facility? I think he'll remember me. I was the only, like me and 4 other reporters in the interview room.
Okay, so this Saturday is Tampa Bay is at the Dragons.
Yep.
I won't be there. You have to go by yourself.
Yep.
Then they have...
No, that's in Tampa Bay. So the last 3 home games for the Seattle Dragons, week 6, the LA Wildcats come to Seattle, which is Josh Johnson and Winston Moss.
And that's who you saw.
Yeah, and that's the guy that's expressive. You'll love to get to see him in person and film him. He's cool.
Yep, I'm gone. That's March 15th. I'm in
I'll be there. That's that's Sunday before my birthday. That'll be fun.
I'll be Thessaloniki.
Yep. So you'll come for New York, week 7.
Yeah, Guardians. Okay, cool.
And then the final game of the year, guess what the hell happens? We get to watch PJ Walker, who's probably going to win the MVP, play week 10, which is the last regular season week of the XFL. We're very lucky. Like, seriously, We used to watch PJ Walker play live and in person and interview him after the game. That's going to be like unbelievably cool.
So it just got away from me. But the thing is that the two teams you saw in New York, you get to see here in Seattle.
Yeah.
That was my point. That's
and
really
get to
cool.
revisit those questions and conversations we had last time I got to see them in New York. And how lucky, like it could have been St. Louis coming, but I actually prefer the fact you get to interview the same teams multiple times. I love that shit. So like Winston Moss, I think I asked him a really cool question about his passion for the game. And I think whether he remembers me or not, it'll be fun to get to talk to him again because I really enjoyed that interview. So I'm just so excited, man. I don't know.
New York sounds like a fantastic trip.
Yeah, well, I'm going back. I mean, what I want to do next time, because I felt like this time was to go and learn how it works.
Yep.
So next time when I go back, I can do better.
You can drink even deeper from the cup.
Yeah, I mean, what I really wanted, I felt very sad. I didn't meet any fans. I usually when I go places, I try to meet up with people, but it's easy when you have your own car and it's a smaller location. Like you can say, hey, let's go to Red Robin. You can go to Red Robin. New York doesn't work that way. I had to go and experience it. And I mean, I was so tired from getting around anyway. It wasn't feasible for me to say, hey, like this time, let's all meet at this place. It just doesn't work that way. But now I know next time, a month in advance, I'm going to New York. This is the date. This is the location. Let's do a meetup here. Let's all come to this restaurant and hang out. Like that's how I'll do it. But I can't wait to show Liz Manhattan. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's cool. So New York, because it's a special beast, it's really hard to meet up with people there.
Yep.
Because you don't drive. You don't have any agency really. It's very difficult. But definitely, like when I go to cities, I want to meet up with people and say hello and meet who I can. And next time I go to New York, I want to do that for sure.
Okay, I've got I made a video for Spark to Bonfire, and I won't get it released before I go to Greece. But I talked about the 3 kinds of rest. So you mentioned rest. I wanted to run them by you because there's 3 kinds of rest.
Go ahead.
And nobody has time for these 3 kinds of rest. But if you don't rest, if you don't do all 3 of these, you're going to burn out or you're going to be less effective.
Why do you say nobody has time for them?
Well, lazy people do, but busy people feel emotionally, it's like, I don't have time for this shit.
Fuck yeah.
I've got too much to do. And 3 kinds of rest? Are you kidding me? But
Yeah.
if you will rest, you won't burn out.
Yeah.
You won't be grumpy, and you'll be more effective. You'll get more done in less time.
Well, last night I went to...
Rest is a force multiplier.
I kind of say last night I went to dinner with my friends, and it wasn't a waste of time because it rejuvenated my heart and my spirit, and I've had one of the most productive days I've had in weeks because of that night, taking kind of a quote night off.
So here's the 3 kinds of rest. Sleep.
Yep.
Downtime. You're doing nothing, but you're awake.
Yep.
And then what I call vitality pursuits, recreational activities that feed the soul that you are, that fill your tank back up. When you're done, you go,
So revisit them one more time. It's
rest. Downtime.
Downtime.
You're just doing nothing.
Yeah. So rest is what?
Well, rest, there's 3 kinds of rest.
Yep.
There's sleep. I'm sorry,
So
sleep.
Sleep. Which is you're out.
You're
cold.
out. Yep.
Yep.
Downtime, which you're awake, but you're not doing anything.
It's like you're on a couch just sitting.
just chilling.
Chill,
Yep.
sipping tea maybe,
Sipping tea, sipping a beer, a glass of wine, maybe reading a book, just chilling.
but your mind is calm and not processing information
Yep.
quickly.
And you're not interacting with others.
Got it. Are you watching? Is that count as watching a show?
It could. Yep.
So
'Cause
downtime could be watching Star Trek or
If
Survivor.
that's meaningful, it doesn't wipe you
Yeah.
out. Yep. And then the third one is a vitality pursuit, which is a recreational activity that leaves you feeling restored and replenished.
Going to
You're
a
just like-
concert
for you.
or a dive bar for you, right?
I like Rocky, Raiders Lost Ark type movies where the good guys win. You're going to see Wonder Woman. As long as I'm not exhausted when I go, I will feel so 10 times better when I come out of Wonder Woman.
So let me define a couple. So sleep is one for me. Like watching Survivor or watching. I've been watching a show called Drive to Survive on. Actually, it's not because if I'm taking notes, I'm not going to count it as rest.
Correct.
So I watch Survivor without my notes. That counts. Watching football is not rest. That's work.
Yep.
But watching Survivor's rest, and then going to movies for me. I went to watch. I went and saw The Way Back. We should talk about that on this podcast at some point. The Way Back with Ben Affleck's really good. Or going to dinner with my friends.
And that feeds the soul that you are.
Going to a concert.
I call that a
Yeah.
vitality pursuit.
I love that. I love that.
So those are the 3 kinds of rest: sleep, downtime, vitality pursuits. And it feels like you just don't have time for any of it, but your life is better when you do those and you get more done. Rest is a force multiplier. When you're properly rested, you get even more done than when you're not.
You have to make time. Well, can I say, my girlfriend and I, our second date ever was we went to Old Spaghetti Factory. And it was a great time. I loved it. But I had a video. I'd recorded it. It was 6 o'clock, right? I'd recorded a podcast at 3:30. I was still in the editing process. 5:30 comes around. It's time for me to shower and leave for the date. And I'm like, I'm not fucking done. Oh, my gosh. And I decided, you know what? I paused what I was doing. I walked away. and I went on the date. And about 2.5 later, I got back from the date, and then I finished my work, and it was a big, huge breakthrough for me to go, oh my gosh, I can literally put stuff on hold, go do what I need to do, and come back to it. And that was a big step for me to go. And it really probably helped my relationship to realize there are nights or times where it's like I can prioritize dinner with my girlfriend or this with that, whatever it is. And that's huge, I guess, is understanding that rest is not necessarily a burden. It's actually valuable, and it's important.
Yep. All right, I want to talk a little bit about getting ready for my trip to Greece.
Yeah.
Because I have put so much work into getting ready. On one hand, I've been gathering my equipment and making sure everything goes in my rolling backpack and in my shoulder bag. And do I have lights? Do I have 2 battery packs? Do I have backup everything? And so, and is it light enough that I can just run around Greece with it? So I've got that set.
Yep.
And I've done a lot of work. Because this kind of filming, like we're doing right now, I'm adequate at that now for my Spark to Bonfire teaching videos. I sit at my desk, I have my own little set, I put up my lights.
Yep, the studio show.
Yeah, and that's easy. But I've also now stepped into getting better at doing vlog style, like outside, just talking to the camera, on the move. That's a different experience. So I've gotten pretty good at those because I want to try and shoot some vlog stuff for my trip in addition to the more set stuff I'm going to do when I'm there. I have my travel platform, Save You Travel Adventures. I got that platform. And then for the past 6 months, I've been working to redo all of my culinary stuff. And now it's all done. It's all, I've got the frame and built. I've got like the bedrooms built out if it's a house. Everything falls under the Culinary Treasure Network umbrella. Culinary Treasure Network, it's all set. So I put a lot of work into that. I've switched my podcast. So the Portland Beer Podcast is now the Craft Beer Podcast. You can go to www.thecraftbeerpodcast.com. I've got Craft Beer Podcast on Instagram. And I've got an episode up now of the Craft Beer Podcast, and that's part of the Culinary Treasure Network.
Yep.
The Portland Culinary Podcast is now the Culinary Treasure Podcast. So I've got that up, and there's culinarytreasurepodcast.com, and I've got all of that. So long-form storytelling. I do articles on the Culinary Treasure website. And then the thing that I'm most proud of that's been really, really, I've filmed. I started filming episodes of this in October. I've got 4 in the can, and I released the first one this week. And for years, I wanted my own show. I was inspired by Anthony Bourdain. He had no reservations. I wanted my own show, and I had a producer call me a couple years ago, and I don't know if they just stole my ideas, but they never got back with me. And if you did this and this and this, I gave all these cool pitches for a show, and eventually I realized, fuck it, I'm just going to do my own show.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I don't know how. I don't know how to be mobile. I don't know how to do all this.
That's a huge, and usually, honestly, you need an assistant or help.
And it's just me, and then you know how good I am at technology.
Teaching you anything is just it literally like makes us yell at each other. Like, it makes me yell at you. Where I'm like, motherfucker, like, you're awful at technology.
And I think people think we're being funny.
Yeah.
But I don't think people understand how hard it is for me. It's almost like a learning disability. I don't know what it is, but it's really hard for me to get this technology down. So for me to say, screw it, I'm going to do my own show, that's like, well, I'm just going to jump off the building and fly without a plane. I mean, it's like, but I released this week the first ever Culinary Treasure Show, Season 1, Episode 1. You people can go to the Culinary Treasure Network on YouTube. It's the YouTube channel, Culinary Treasure Network, or go to culinarytreasure.com. It's embedded there on the website.
What can I say? There are moments in my life where I was teaching another friend of mine how to record a podcast the other day, and she was really discouraged because it's really, really difficult. And I said, no, if my dad can learn this, you can fucking learn this. Like, and that's literally like, you joke about how you don't know what you're doing. You legitimately have no fucking idea what you're doing. At least you didn't when we started, right? Like,
and the beauty of it is, I don't actually fucking care that I don't know. I don't care. And people, when I first started, I've told you the story. When I first did my podcast, what's this new? What's that new? I don't know. And people thought I was screwing around with them. They go, I don't know what these things do. I don't care. I just know Ken told me to plug these things in here, and it works. And that blew people's minds. Because not only do I not know, I don't fucking care. I just need good sound. I don't give a shit.
You know that if X and Y touch each other, it makes good sound.
And that's it. And people thought I was messing with them, but I really just don't even care. I just want to get the end product.
But I think that's the point. Is like, it's actually, if people understand the gravity of it, it's kind of an inspiring story. Like, motherfucker, if you can learn how to make a YouTube channel and make a podcast and make all that shit work, anybody can, right? Like, because it's for you. Because I was the one teaching you a lot of that shit.
You watched me struggle.
Oh my God. It was I think I'm a solid teacher too. Like I've taught a lot of quarterback stuff. Like I like some people are just bad at teaching,
Right.
and you are hard to teach anything because it just is it's a Herculean effort for you.
It is, and I ask crazy questions that don't make sense to anybody because I just look at the world in this skewed way.
Yeah. I don't understand how your brain works even a little bit. But beside the point, like I watched episode 1. I watched the Steve
You watch
Volpe
Culinary
episode.
Treasure, the Culinary Treasure show, the first episode.
Let me tell you what I watched. I watched a video of you in a forest with a woman talking about walnuts,
Hazelnuts. Yeah, we had a hazelnut farm. I did episode 1, season 1 at a hazelnut farm.
and then I watched a video of you talking about Steve Volpe, and it was
Dry Hills Distillery.
Yep, and what it honestly reminded me of is back in the day when I started Strong Opinion Sports. I was in a room talking to this exact microphone setup with a different background, but talking into a camera, talking to a microphone, and it was a huge moment because I look back on that and go, "There's this problem, there's this problem, there's this problem, there's this problem." But it was definitely better than most people's first video, right? It was high quality audio, a good enough looking mic, a solid background, like a very good baseline for like most people don't start that good, right? You're in exactly the same spot where it's like I look at it and I was like, I'm watching this. It sounds good. It looks good. I enjoy it. I watched the whole Steve Volpe video and there were a couple cuts that I liked them. They looked good.
The jump cuts, yeah.
Yep, and it like I always have avoided jump cuts because the stupid film douche in me can't get past them. Like, hey, you're not supposed to do them. But like watching your video, I should probably do more of them, honestly, because nobody gives a shit. It doesn't make it not bad. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't it doesn't take away from the narrative at all. So it's fine to do them. And my point is, I watched it and I was like, this is quality. I enjoy this. This is good. So first of all, testament to you. And I'm really excited to watch in like 4 years from now.
Yeah, because I'm going to get better. I mean,
Yeah.
And it's funny. I recorded that first one at a hazelnut farm outside, in October, and
Yeah.
I'm a much better filmmaker now.
Yep. And you'll just keep getting better. Like,
Right, but I watch it. Go, man, I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done that. And now when I was filming on Wednesday, I filmed 3 things on Wednesday. I was thinking different, and I know I'll think different a year from now.
Yep.
But yeah, it was really you watching that. Raina Wickstrom, she's a hazelnut farmer, and watching that Culinary Treasure show about her, it's pretty fucking amazing to me because I've always wanted my own show, and now I have one. I literally have a show, and I think it's a pretty cool name. I like Culinary Treasure Show, and I own CulinaryTreasureShow.com, and I own CulinaryTreasure.com, and I own Culinary Treasure Network. But I mean, that's pretty amazing. Go ahead.
I loved at the end when you said, and this is why it's a culinary treasure, and you had a little brief explanation about what makes this unique or cool, and I was like, the name it's well named, it's well done, let me say, I've watched some of your fucking videos from maybe when did we start making videos? When did you start making your videos? Like 6 months, 9 months, a year ago?
Yeah, over a year ago.
And when you first started a year ago, and this is what I tell people, by the way, my friend's trying to make a podcast, and I said, here's what you should do. Honestly, give yourself fucking 6 months to learn how to use equipment. Record something, and then it goes, I don't like it, it's bad, and take 6 months to learn how to use the tools, the camera, the recorder, whatever. And then use another month to learn how to tell a story. Like, just because you know how the tools work doesn't mean you know how to actually sit down and talk into a microphone. Yep. But once you get there, then you're ready to actually put stuff out to the public. And that's your baseline. Wherever you start is your baseline, but you need to have a baseline that's good enough for good enough audio, good enough background, good enough storytelling. And once you're there, you can start. And then once you're ready to start, then keep getting better. And 4 years from then, you'll be even better. So watch my first film analysis video to now. My Super Bowl film analysis video is crisp. It's phenomenal. It's great work.
Yep.
But I had to go through the growing pains to get there. Or when you watch my first podcast to now, I've got a beautiful background. It's still not ironed, but it's better, right? And so the same way that I'm proud of the small improvements I've made to make little technical errors and things, improvements, I can't wait to watch where your show is even better 4 years from now or even a year from now. It's going to be cool, and you're going to make leaps and bounds by making little tweaks here and there.
So 4 things about that show.
Yep.
A, to me, it blows my mind. I got the infrastructure. I have, which in my head,
stuff it takes.
Well, the infrastructure, when I say it's not the equipment, in my head, I've got the website. The website's up. I've got the YouTube channel. YouTube channel's up, and I've got a video posted there. I've got Facebook. I've got Twitter. I've got Instagram. There's an Instagram post. There's a Facebook post. There are a couple of them. I've got the infrastructure.
Yep.
I've got the equipment, and I know how to freaking use it. Lights, sound, video, audio, all of that stuff. and I'm mobile. That blows my mind. Just the fact that now I have a show and I can literally say I'm a filmmaker, and I go watch it. Go watch it. It's there. And I mean, I got lucky that day. The sun was coming through and the trees, and it is so beautiful.
It's really pretty.
And just like, wow, I have my own show now. I really actually do. And then the fourth thing, having you watch it and you say it looked good, that was so meaningful to me because I have so much respect for what you do as and just that was really touching. That was like, I'm like, fuck you. Zach likes it, so go fuck yourself.
Well, that was my fear, right? Is that I knew like it was going to take time before you got a good enough baseline
Yep.
to make quality, like to make it something that's even watchable, right?
Right.
Now it's at the point where it's like, okay, this is fucking watchable. This works. I like this. I would literally click on this. Like that's a huge step in your development. I'm really proud of that. Yeah, I had a moment in the shower before you got here. I was taking a shower, and showers are fun to me because I just think a lot. It's hot, and I just think about shit, and it's my time to kind of. There's no phone. There's no thing playing. It's just my time to think.
Yeah, and for a lot of young men, showers are fun for different reasons, but we won't get into that.
Jesus. By the way, I've never enjoyed that in the shower. It's not a good.
I don't even want to go
it's
there.
not a setting that works
wanna
for me. I
know
don't
that.
understand that. But I'm in the shower thinking about stuff, and I realized like today. It's what is it? It's 4:40 p.m. today where we are, and I got up at 9 this morning, and girlfriend left for work, and I got so much work done this morning. So much work for the podcast. So much work for like professionally figuring out, because a lot of the work is making a plan. So I got like taxes figured out and some other stuff figured out. And I realized, I had a moment where like, oh, I can do this by myself. And I've had you as kind of a crutch a lot of the past 4 years. So it's like, whenever I have something I don't understand, I just go to my dad. Hey, how would you do this? How do I do taxes? How do I do this? How do I do that? And not only did I realize I can do this, I had a moment, I'm in the shower, I'm thinking about stuff. I'm like, I can do it. And oh my gosh, at some point, like, I'm not going to have my dad, and I'm not going to need my dad, and my dad's going to do his own thing. And it was a big, like, aha moment for me. I'm like, and then we're watching your show, and I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, right now, you're an employee of Strong Opinion Sports, technically. Like, you do a little bit stuff on the side for me.
I think of you're one of my clients, but fair enough.
Sure, whatever, however you want to do it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
'cause I'm not technically employed. I definitely client.
Yeah, for sure.
You're one of my bonfire inside
However
clients.
you put it, right? Like, you did work for me.
I help people grow their brand. I'm definitely helping you.
Yeah,
and I love doing that.
Yeah, and I had a moment where I was like, at some point, like, the role for my dad's going to change and not be what it is, and number one, that's okay, and number two, like, he's going to do big shit. Like, I think that I think we're a very creative bunch of us. You, me, my girlfriend, your wife, and I think we're at this very, like, I feel like I've done some shit, but actually, like, compared to what is going to happen in the next 10 years, I can't wait to look back on today with the plastic fucking table and the non-steamed iron curtain behind us. Like, we're going to look back and go, wow, that was the infancy of something much bigger.
Well, and grief hits people different ways. Zane passed away, and within a couple months, you started doing YouTube videos.
Yep.
I thought I was hitting on all cylinders just before Zane passed away. I had 2 books out. I had a contract. I was working on my 3rd book. I had a lot of cool stuff happening. Zane passed away, and I lost a lot of my creative energy for a good 3 years. And that feels shameful. That feels embarrassing. How can you lose 3 years of creative energy? But that's what happened. And now I'm finally back to where I was, where like now I am cranking out content. I mean, just cranking out. I'm going to have you know how hard this is. You're one of the few people that does. I'll have 4 videos out this week that I recorded, posted, edited, and then I do a little deeper, higher level than you, then shared the fuck on social media. And you know how hard that is. And I'm like, no, I'm just making it happen. And that's not counting my podcast. I mean, I'm just cranking out content.
What we talked last week on the episode about the day we're going to Birmingham, Alabama to do the Senior Bowl, and how I'm going to go and record podcasts and watch football all week, and you're going to go and do food stuff, and we'll decompress and probably do Flawed Humans during that week too. And in my head, my girlfriend comes with us because it'll be fun. And we're even going to Bozeman, right, and doing a similar thought. Like, I'm going to do some work and
we're
some
going
travel
to
and
Boston in 2 weeks, and Thursday morning, I've got to set up to go to a really amazing farm that's a brewery.
Apparently,
we're gonna do that Thursday morning, and then we got dinner with a cool media company Thursday night. I gotta come up with something culinary for Friday, and then Friday night we're going to the Celtics game. They happen to be playing the Trailblazers. Not we picked that date.
Yeah.
We got really cool seats.
Well, it's really cool. I got asked a question on Ask Zach a while ago. It was like, what are some of your dream, locations to watch sports? Like, and I said like Fenway Park. And Soldier Field, Lambeau. I'd love to go to Monaco. It's impossible. I don't know. I'd love to see a Formula One race in Monaco someday. I don't know how that's even. It's not feasible, but it'd be really cool.
Why is that not feasible?
Oh, dude, like Monaco is It's like. I think I could get in if someone gave me a ticket. Like there's ways it could happen for sure.
Yeah, you have a fan.
But
make it happen.
But it's much different for me than going to like a Jaguars game. Like it's in a different country, in a different world. It's I think a lot harder to get into than like paying for a ticket. It's just more complicated, I guess. And I can't currently see a path to make it happen yet, other than to say like I'm going to make it happen. And that's good enough to you, but like for me, it's like I don't know logistically how Monaco would work yet.
But
No, I know.
I gotta say this. I gotta say this. I don't give how never matters to me. Like how doesn't matter.
No,
because
for sure.
in 2004, in March of 2004, I was in Thessaloniki walking along the waterfront. And I thought, man, I wish I had a way to film this. I didn't know how. I didn't even know I could have turned on my damn phone and done it. Didn't occur to me. And I thought, man, I want to come back to Greece someday. I want to come back to Thessaloniki. And now 16 years later, the Greek National Tour Board's taking me to Thessaloniki in March, and I'm going to walk that fucking waterfront, and I'm going to film it. How does it matter? You just say what you want to make happen, and you head off on that direction, and the shit comes together. So I don't know how you can go to Monaco, but it doesn't matter. You can go to Monaco. You can watch a Formula One race. It will all work out. Just head off for it.
Does it make sense when I say that, like, you know how to cook an egg? It's a dish you've never cooked before. Like, I don't know logistics of. So first of all, yes, correct. But I know how to go to a Packers game. You drive, you buy the ticket, you go. I don't know how to go to a Formula One race in Monaco. That's what I mean. It feels like a bigger, more difficult task. Does that make sense at least?
Not to me, because it's all the same. You just fucking head off after it. It's not. There's nothing harder or easier. You just go. Just battleforyourdream.com. Go make it happen. I bought for you. Go get great.com. Make your story extraordinary.com. I'm sorry.
No, it has to make sense. Like, it's not unachievable. It's just it's a thing I've never done before.
Well, I look forward to the day that I watch your Instagram account near Monaco.
Hell yeah.
I'm not sure I want to go to that Formula One race, but I'll be happy to watch the Instagram account.
One of the things
I'll go to Monaco, but I don't want to go to the race.
But where I was going with that is one of the things I listed was I'd love to go to the Boston Garden to watch the Celtics game. I've always I like basketball a lot. And Madison Square Garden, I guess, would be cool, but I don't care about basketball arenas the same way. It's not outdoors. It's not as a lot of them are it's just a court. Like, what's really that different? But for me, the Boston Garden, I think it's called the TD Garden now, has always for me been like, for some reason, the Boston Garden would be really cool. Since I was like 8 years old, looking at basketball cards in my hands, I was like, you could just see the background of the building and pictures. Like, this is I want to go here. We're doing that.
Yeah,
that's fucking cool. Like, we're going to watch the Celtics at the Boston Garden. Boom.
3 Fridays from now.
And we're going to go get coronavirus on the plane.
No, we're not. No,
it's cool. It's very, very special.
Great seats.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
It's someone gave us I don't know the guy's name. Some very cool person gave us really cool seats, and it's going to be what a blessing, man. I don't know, it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, it's just that's it. You just keep battling for your dream. You head out and really cool stuff happens. And it's just at the front end. It's just at the front end. I'm so excited for the next 10 years.
You know, I woke up today.
And by the way, I just want to make it clear, if you're watching this video, I tell you those things because you can do it. Somewhere in 2011, when I said I'd become a writer, speaker, and author and be self-employed, we were moving out of a house, and I was moving into a garage, and you were moving into the bedroom in that house. We were fucking homeless. And everyone said we're nuts. So someone's like, oh, I don't want to hear them flex. I'm not flexing. Like, they can do this. I don't care what your challenges are. You can overcome them.
I've never been happier in my life than I am. The last couple of days have been incredible. And I feel so good about the plan. I feel good about the things I don't know. Like, at some point, there are going to be challenges that you can't predict. But I know I'm equipped to deal with them. And I've never been in a better place in my life. I think a lot of the, from December, I had a really big challenge. I'll say I went through a breakup, right? And it was very difficult. And I think since then, a lot of people have been worried about me. Like what, and even the last podcast, I think I looked exhausted. I felt tired.
Yep.
And I just got a haircut. Like I feel like my place is clean. I have a giant list of stuff to do. I have a plan for the future. I'm headed in a direction, and I've never felt better, actually, straight up. Last night, I took my girlfriend to meet my childhood friends. We had a great time together. Like, I just really feel fulfilled. And I've been telling myself this thing recently because when you buy a great car, you drive the car, right? You enjoy the ride. Like, if I buy a Ferrari, I'm fucking driving the Ferrari. I'm going to have fun.
Yep.
And for me, my job and my life feels like a Ferrari. Like, I really feel like I've got an incredible job. I've got a great girlfriend. I've got great family around me. I've got a really wonderful place to live that feels like, I came home from New York and I sat down on my couch and I just was like, oh my God, I'm home. And I've never felt more like, even growing up as a kid, like our house was kind of chaotic and it
wasn't the Haven Home energy. Karen and I
Yes.
call our place Haven Home because it just feels.
Yeah. So after I moved out of your house and went to college, and I was in LA and I was in Pullman, Washington for school, and I was in Tacoma, and I was all fucking over the place, living out of like backpacks and all kinds of shit. And now to come home and have home and feel secure, and oh my God, do I feel good about my place in life. And so my point is, I have this incredible job. I really have like one of the coolest fucking jobs in the world, and I just got to enjoy it. Like, drive the Ferrari, enjoy the trip, enjoy the ride. And like, what's my big worry for the next 10 years? I don't know. I just got to enjoy it. I got to make the content I love and enjoy the process of doing it. And what a fucking good feeling. I mean,
Well, that's
oh my God.
That's funny because Monday I recorded for the last time. I've recorded it 3 times now, and this time it took. But I recorded the last 3 videos for my How to Enjoy Your Life teaching series. And it's 4 videos, and the first one I nailed. But the next 3, I had to record them 3 times to get it right because I just had to figure everything out. But
Yeah.
I'm so glad I did because it is such a conviction of mine, how to enjoy your life. And I'm so thrilled to hear that you're doing it. You're embracing it.
Yeah. I feel good about the plan. I mean, I really do. I feel like it's only up from here, and that's a really cool feeling. I mean, I think Strong Man in Sports I'm very lucky. Like, I'm fortunate, right? It makes money, and I'm surviving, and I'm doing it. But like, there's better shit on the way, and I'm capable of that.
Yep.
I think for a while I was kind of I've been getting by enough, like, and not just financially, but like emotionally, like getting by.
Well, here's what happened to me when I realized I'm really going to Greece and things are coming together. It was a big shift because I'm so used to fighting and fighting and fighting to make it happen. Now I just need to lean into it and enjoy it. And to enjoy it and keep working is a very different emotional energy than fighting and hoping it happens. It's happening. And if I don't embrace that it's happening and I keep fighting to make it happen while it's happening, I'll fuck it up.
It's that chip on the shoulder that your wife always talks about,
and
right?
I had to I need to have a different journey now where I'm still working hard. I'm still in the battle. I'm still in the hunt, but I'm not fighting to make it happen. It's happening. It's happening.
Oh yeah, we talked about before. Like, there's that shift when you make it. Like, your motivation has to change, or there's something has to be different. Like, when I went to college to play football, I've said this before many times, even on this show. Like, my whole journey to play college football was fuck the coach who didn't believe in me.
Yep.
So when I got there, I didn't change my narrative, and it didn't make any sense. So my motivation was literally like, why I made it. I proved I got wrong. So why am I still angry? The story didn't fit. I had to tell myself a different story. We saw that with Baker Mayfield, the Cleveland Browns quarterback, was so much trying to prove everybody wrong. So the minute he was not the underdog anymore.
Number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, you're not an underdog, man. So like, when people were believing in him, his story didn't line up, and I think it really caused him personal challenges, and I hope he changed that approach, right? It's the same way now for you and I. Like, it's fucking working. Do it. Enjoy it. Go after it.
Well, and people have cool initials after their name. So tongue-in-cheek, fun. We'll close with this because I got to get going. But I people have MD and they have all kinds of different initials. So I've decided in tongue-in-cheek, I'm going to put initials next to my name now when I sign stuff. R.S. RS, or just RS. I don't know, but RS.
What's RS stand for?
Rockstar.
R.S. Jesus Christ.
Just silly fun. Instead of MD, I'll have RS.
I know you want to. Actually, can we go for like 20 more minutes?
Yeah, but I got to text Karen because she's making special dinner because I'm leaving tomorrow. So
I ran into this thing. I had this problem. Taxes have been a gigantic weight for me because I'm like, I know I need to do them, but I don't know how to do them.
Yep.
And I had a checklist that said do taxes. What the fuck does that mean? Like that's not a detailed plan at all. And I had to change my approach to realize like, okay, I can't just say do my taxes. What's the first step in that process, right? I had to create a more detailed plan. And so I've had this new thing going on where like I realized like I can't just, when I make a podcast episode, I can't just say make a podcast. You have to go, well, what's topic 1? What's topic 2? What's topic 3? I had to be more detailed with the way I did stuff. And it's been a really big change for me to realize like saying what you want to do isn't enough. You have to really dive into like, how do I do it? What's the first thing? What's the first area you're headed in? And it's been a really big breakthrough for me to go like, I can't just say do blank. It's how, where, what's next, what's the first part of that process to do blank.
What's the first doable step?
Yeah.
You need doable steps. Life change happens one doable step at a time.
And once you parse it down in a smaller thing, you go, oh, I can. I don't know how to do my taxes, but I can do part 1, which leads to part 2, part 3, and then there's like maybe 40 steps. But once you figure out what the first step is and go there, it's a huge breakthrough. And I think similarly with content, for me, making content is like momentum. Like I'm writing, and when I stop writing, like in New York, I took like a 2-day break from writing, and I feel like I lost momentum. And if you're rolling a ball and it's going quickly and then you stop the ball, it's hard to get that heavy, big-ass ball moving again. And so I've had to learn how momentum works with content. And every day is just sit down and write a little bit. And you like allow yourself to have momentum and keep it going. Because if you come to a dead stop, it's hard to keep. Does that make sense?
I think creativity is an art. Not to be funny,
Yeah.
because Karen has really struggled with her creativity, because she's now she thinks it's funny now. She has 3 platforms she's writing for. Like, how did this happen to her? It's like, because I infected you with the Shomler virus. But she writes for Recipes Are Merely a Suggestion.
Yep.
Liberating Way Both to Cook and Lead Your Life. So stuff there.
Say it again slower. Recipes are merely a suggestion.
Recipes are merely a suggestion.com. Yep, there's a website there. So she writes there. She writes for the PortlandDiveBars.com website.
Yep.
And we're working on a book. And then she writes for Desperately Dating. So she really has been getting down on herself with her creativity because she's got to crank out this content. And she's realized that for her, writing every day or every other day or 3 times or 4 times a week or 5 times a week doesn't work. She has to chill. She's thinking all the time, thinking. It's always going in her head. But when she actually sits down to write, she does what she calls batch writing. So she wakes up, because she gets up all the time, literally at 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and then has a bunch of time alone. She'll wake up Thursday morning and just crank out 8 or 9 articles. Just boom, 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 boom. And then maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, she starts freaking out, I'm not being creative. And then Monday, she'll crank out 8 or 9 articles. So in a month, she cranks out a bazillion articles, but she's had to learn
how it works for her.
Right, because she's seen I just sit down and work. I just sit down and work. I just write. I don't care. I just write. There's no...
Yeah, that doesn't work for me either.
Right, see, exactly. So each of us have a different way that we're creative. And I think the trick with creativity is find the way that works for you.
For me, like, there's a difference between writing. So, like, Strong Man in Sports, it'll be like, I have a topic coming out called, I have a bunch of them. One of them is like predictions versus reality, the 2019 Cleveland Browns season. So the first step of that is not sitting down to write the thing. It's where it's like brainstorming / note-taking / putting ideas on page. And I'll take, okay, here's my idea for this. Here's this. Let me rewatch the video I made of my predictions. And what I'll have is about 8 pages of messy scribbles. And then I go from the scribbles and organize them into a more well-thought-out video. Or, a piece of paper that's got, it may go from 8 pages to 1 page and a bunch of bullet points. But I had to do all the messy stuff to get to here.
Yep.
But I've also felt like I hate waiting. Like, if I wait long enough, I'll get creative. I will. Like, it might take me 3 weeks, it might take me 2 weeks. But fucking that doesn't work when you're trying to make money being creative. So I had to learn, how do I activate your creativity? And a lot of that for me is, okay, I sit down and write. And I'll just write about nothing or write about something. And after about 30 minutes of writing about nothing or writing about weird shit that doesn't make any sense, eventually creativity will come. Or if I literally sit down and like lay on the floor and look at the ceiling and just wait, after like 10 minutes, the creativity comes, because you have to give yourself space to be creative. Like if you're on your phone texting or playing solitaire or on Instagram, your mind is occupied with other shit. But you have to give yourself space to be creative. So I've literally turned my phone in airplane mode and sit alone. And as I sit, that's why the shower is such a good creative spot, because it's quiet. There's no other distractions. So as I sit, like this is why often I have such a hard time sleeping, is because it might be the only time all day where I have no other distractions, so my mind starts going. Oftentimes, I'll lay down at midnight to sleep, and I'll lay there for like 30 minutes and go, fuck, I got to make a video, and I'll go back to my office and then write like for another hour and a half, and then I'll go down and lay down again, and then I'm like, oh my God, and then I'll go do another hour and a half of writing, and I don't fucking fall asleep till 6 because it's finally like I've taken the time. So my point is, like, why would I wait until I go to bed to give myself time to be creative? Now I've learned, hey, it might be 11 o'clock and I don't know what I want to do yet, and I feel overwhelmed by not doing anything. So I turn off my phone, I turn off all the sounds, I patiently wait with a blank piece of paper and a pen, and I close my eyes and I wait. And I feel kind of ridiculous that 10 minutes in, nothing's being written. I'm sitting there wondering, but eventually it comes, and you have to give yourself the quiet space to be creative.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. Give yourself space to be creative. Yep. And I do the same thing. The reason I can write every day or create every day is because I just sit down and I just start pounding stuff out, and it literally could be gibberish. But, when I work with my Bond for Insight clients, and I tell them to tackle issues, and I tell them to journal, and I say, you got to deal with this issue from your childhood or in your marriage or whatever, and I say, just get out a pen and paper, a blue pen, yellow pad of paper, very, very important, and I tell them, just start writing, and they, what do I write? I said, literally write this. I hate Steven. He told me I need to journal. I don't know what to write. I've got to journal about my marriage, and I don't want to journal about my marriage. I've got to journal about this painful thing in my childhood. I don't know what to say. I can't stand him. He's an idiot. Why do I have to do this? And keep writing that way, and all of a sudden, boom, because, when I had that problem as a child, I realized how much my dad didn't love me. It just slips out of you when you start, for me. Now, that being said, sounds like your process is a little similar to mine. You allow space.
Yep.
I just start working. I want to make it really clear to the creatives out there listening to this podcast, there's not a right way to create. Karen could not do either of those, and she's highly creative, and she's very gifted. She just has to wait till it's almost like the dam, all the water builds behind the dam, and then the dam breaks, and then 8 or 9 episodes at once, and then it fills back up. So but you have to find the way for creativity that works for you. I mean, you did, I did, but to the person watching this video.
But I had to sit down even and figure out what is it. Like today was the first time I've been like, oh, I've been doing this, but now I can put it to words, right? It's a big difference between doing something and then knowing how to explain what you do. Yeah. And once you can teach it to someone else, you've really mastered your process.
Yep.
I have a couple more things I want to talk about. I'm with you. Time is an issue. My girlfriend gets off in 30 minutes. I'm going to make her dinner tonight, so we got to get through this shit quickly. But quickly is different than, let's be mindful, but let's not rush it either. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I watched a movie called The Way Back on Friday night.
Jeremy Johns loved it.
Did he?
Oh, I love Jeremy Johns. I watched his review of it.
It's a wonderful. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I went into it thinking I'm going to love this sports movie. It's not a sports movie.
That's exactly what Jeremy Johns
really
said. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an alcoholism movie.
Yeah. He was prepared for Hoosiers.
Yeah. And it's not.
It's not. But he still loved it.
Yeah. Basketball. It's a story about a basketball coach who's an alcoholic, and I thought it was going to be a basketball movie. Again, it's not a basketball movie. It's an alcoholism movie.
Well, and John said it was an addiction movie because you can sweat out a lot of things for alcohol.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And so I really want to start with this. When Zane died 4 years ago, I was fucking miserable and I was lost. And I even had a little period where I like drank heavily to try to avoid feeling it. And
you were self-medicating.
Oh yeah,
in an inappropriate way.
Yep. And I had to replace drinking with something, so that became Strong Opinion Sports in the show. And over the course of 4 years, I think my work for the show has become less addiction, more passion, and more fun. Comes from a healthier place for sure.
Yep.
But it definitely, like, through the hard parts of my life, hard breakup or brother dying, like, Strong Opinion Sports has been the constant thing that I can put myself into and occupy that harsh, whatever I need to. Like, Strong Opinion Sports is there for me. It feels like the show feels less like work and more like a friend I have, literally, that I get to pour myself into. And for that coach, it was basketball. Like, basketball was the thing he poured himself into. And I'm not going to spoil the movie at all. I really recommend people go see it. But I fucking loved the character. I expected a basketball movie. It wasn't a basketball movie. And it's not. I thought maybe, like, I looked at the trailer and said, I'm going to love this movie. I don't know why. I had a gut sense. And I thought maybe it'd be my favorite sports movie of all time. It's not my favorite sports movie of all time, but it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Now, you haven't seen Hoosiers yet, right?
No.
Don't watch Hoosiers without me.
Okay.
Just please, because that would be very meaningful to me.
Okay.
I would love to watch Hoosiers with you.
By the way, my favorite sports movie of all time is Rush, about the Formula One drivers. And this is, even before I liked Formula One.
You liked Rush a long time
Yeah,
ago.
because I like it's not about the sport, it's about the people, right?
I think you'll love Hoosiers. There's some great lines in
Hell
there, and
yeah.
I want to experience with you.
We'll watch it. We'll sit on my couch and we'll watch it.
Yep.
But this movie is so honest, it's authentic, and I'm gonna say this, and it's not. The guy gets punished, like in a way that is like. The movie is really honest about addiction, like.
Consequences.
There are consequences. Yes, there are consequences for your actions. There are consequences for the choices you make, and it wasn't the Hollywood ending. Like it really was. I just really loved the consequences in this movie. I was like, that is the most healthy message you can put out about addiction. Like, hey, it's serious, and if you do shit, you pay for it. Like I was like, oh my god, I really loved it. I just wanted to tell you and the world about it. Like it's a very special movie, and it's real. It doesn't sugarcoat. It's not. Game of Thrones is fucking brutal and like people get their throats cut and it's messy. There's nothing like that in this movie. It's just an honest take on addiction, and I really really good movie. Do you have any interest in seeing it?
Not anymore. It sounds like it has a sad ending, and I just don't do movies like that anymore.
Yeah.
I've had too much sad endings in my life.
Yeah.
I don't need to be enriched through sorrow.
But
People under 40 need to.
No, I actually disagree with you. I think you could watch it and go. I think you would go less sad and more like it'd be more like that makes. I think your reaction literally would be like that makes sense, not I'm so heartbroken. Does that make sense?
It does, but I'm pretty sure I would be sad.
That's fair because you're overwhelmingly heartbroken about things that aren't even necessarily heartbreaking for me. So that's fair. But I just want to say I loved the movie. And
but I
great.
will go to moviespoilers.com and read the end and then see if I could endure it.
Yeah, and you should. You really should. And if you ever want to, you're welcome to watch it with me.
All right.
It's a good movie. I want to say a couple more things.
And just so people think I'm weird, between my very dark,
No.
abusive childhood and all the losses I've had professionally and all the ways I felt hurt and betrayed and then losing Zane, I'm just done with that.
You're good. You want the good guys to win.
I want the good guys to win. I want, I was bad enough seeing Avengers Part 1, but I knew it's an Avengers movie, so there'll be a Part 2 and it'll be okay. I want Rocky. I want Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm ready for that because I've lived too much of the other, too much darkness.
Okay. I'm going to cut out. I had 4 things. I'm going to cut out 2 of them.
Okay.
They're just generic things we can talk about anytime, and maybe I'll even do a podcast with someone else and talk about them. They're like an agenda thing. I just get them out. We don't need to be with you. But I do want to say this. I think I'm uncomfortable talking about this topic because I know time matters, and I feel like it's going to seem like I'm feeding my ego, and that's not what my intention, right? Ego is a thing I really go back and forth with, struggling with. Kind of like a quarterback. You don't want to have a quarterback that's not confident in themselves.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers needs to have confidence. Tom Brady needs to have confidence. And if you're going to be the man, you have to think you're the man. There's that fine line between confidence and cocky. I looked in the mirror today for the first time in a long time and I looked at myself and went, I'm fucking proud of this guy in the mirror. This dude's awesome. He's doing cool shit. I like this guy. And that was a really cool moment for me. I got a haircut yesterday.
And it looks fantastic.
Thank you. For a long time I've just accepted my hair as what it is, and I've always felt like my hair is good enough, and I was like, why don't I get hair I like? Like I can. And it was a big step for me, and I was like, oh. And not just physically, I mean like everything I'm doing and the growth I've done as a human being. I met with my high school, I've had the same friends for 6 years. Like me and my best friends, the same guys I was hanging out with 6 years ago, we're still best friends. We still talk. We made dinner together last night. I brought my girlfriend to hang out with, and we sat in the hot tub at my buddy's house. And like it was cool because we're all together, and we're just older, doing different. Like one's an engineer, one has a job doing medical stuff. I'm a fucking podcast host professionally, and we got to like reminisce a little bit about the past. And so that really got me thinking about who I was in high school. And I think for years and years, especially when Zane died, when I was really in the dark period, I would look in the mirror and not be proud of what I was looking at, and not be proud of who I was, not be proud of what I was doing, like kind of self-loathing. Like I suck. The things I do suck. I'm a bad person. What I'm doing is not interesting or inspiring. And it's so cool to like look in the mirror and be like, dude, your plan is awesome. you're an attractive dude. Like, to feel good about yourself is a really nice feeling.
So is it okay to be proud of yourself?
Yeah, I think so. And I think I've been ashamed of, like, I have an amazing studio, and not fucking, like, I mean, it's still a plastic fucking table, but, like, man,
Yeah,
is
McAfee has an amazing studio, but this feels really nice.
it's peaceful in here, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a really wonderful room to work in. It really is. I sit down and watch football, the XFL games, and I love what I'm doing. I love my studio, and my friends kind of last night were like, they asked Liz, they're like, so are you going to Cincinnati? And like, she's like, yeah, I'm going. And I feel good about bringing my girlfriend with me to go to Cincinnati, and that plan works for me, and it feels good, and it's going to be fun. And whatever challenges arise, I feel like her and I are both prepared to deal with them and have hurdles along the way. And I just, like, I really like where I'm headed, and I really like who I am, and that's a big step.
So, because I think it's important for people to hear, is it okay to like who you are?
Yeah.
Is it okay to be proud of yourself?
Yeah.
Is it okay to enjoy your journey?
Yeah.
Is it okay to enjoy your life?
Yeah.
I completely agree hardly as to all those things. And I think it's also okay. I teach that the good life is three things. When you're enjoying your life, you're pursuing wholeness, getting wholer, and when you're making a difference in the lives somehow of others somehow. Those three things, you do those three things, you are living the good life. And sometimes it's okay to say, wow, my life is such a train wreck right now. I need to pursue a lot of wholeness. But getting wholer is different than saying, I'm fucked up. There's who's saying, I need to deal with some shit in my life, and looking in the mirror and seeing a fucked up person. And I think there's a lot of people that have a story in their heads that they don't know that they have that says it's not okay to be proud of yourself. It's not okay to feel good about yourself. That's wrong. That's arrogant. That's bad. And they don't know why. And if someone's watching this video and they're feeling unsettled that you feel proud of yourself, unsettled that you like yourself, unsettled that you like your journey, I would encourage them to look at that, because I want them to imagine they have a kid. You want your kid to feel good about themselves. You want your kid to enjoy their journey. You want your kid to enjoy your life. And I'm your father, so I literally want you to enjoy your life. I want you to feel good about yourself. I want you to enjoy your journey. Now, I don't want you to shine on bullshit about the broken parts of your life. I'm not saying that. I want you to deal with broken parts of your life, but there's a difference between broken parts of your life and feeling ashamed that you're broken. There's a difference between saying, to not feeling good about yourself. You should feel good about yourself. Man, I think you've got the spark of the divine in you. All of us do. Everyone has a really good reason. This may be a topic for a different time, but to feel good about themselves. But some people here are going to be unsettled because they've got this story. It's part of our culture where it's not okay to do that. And I'm telling you, the happiest, most fulfilled, most effective people do feel good about themselves.
But you can feel good about yourself and still acknowledge, I need to tweak this about myself and work on this and that. Like, of course, I have things to work on, and everyone does.
Yep.
But the other part of that, though, too, is you can like yourself without feeling bad, you can like you and also like other people. I think a lot of people think when you like yourself, you must therefore think you're better than other people. No. I can like myself and still enjoy other people and appreciate their goodness about them, too.
In fact, I'll say, if you don't love yourself, you can't love others.
But I think the fear, right, is a lot of people like, oh, you like yourself, so therefore you must look down on other people. And that's not at all what I have in my heart, but I think it's not healthy either.
And if I can like myself with my brokenness, it makes it I've never met someone that doesn't have brokenness. Sorry.
Yeah.
And if I can like myself with my brokenness, I can like someone else with their brokenness.
Was it the last podcast episode? I can't remember if this was a conversation I had with you or with my girlfriend or with Suzanne or somebody I was talking to. My girlfriend told me this, actually, but I don't know if I said this on the show. That idea that only the strongest of us are the people that go get counseling. Like, we often say, like, oh, you're at counseling? Oh, you're fucked up. What a horrible loser. Like, but no. The reality is, no, I'm fucking strong enough to go face my issues. And that's hard for people. I think we have to change the way that counseling and getting help and self-improvement is viewed. Like, it takes strength to really take on your challenges rather than run from them and avoid them.
That was a conversation you and I had, and that's M. Scott Peck is where I got it.
There we go.
Because M. Scott Peck was a psychiatrist who writes head stuff. I'm a heart-gut person.
Yeah.
He's the only head writer that I really like, and he was a counselor for years. He's passed away now. Psychiatrist, actually, I believe. MD, psychiatrist. And that was his argument. Because he'd meet these people been through hell that had the strength to confront and go to counseling, and he'd meet these other people that seemed strong but wouldn't look at their dark stuff. and it takes strength to get healthy. Only the healthy people get counseling. Only the strong.
First of all, number one, I really love that. I did. I remember that with you. I remember the M. Scott Peck thing. I also remember having the similar. My girlfriend said a similar thing to me, and the fact that you guys can both independently get to that own conclusion, and that makes me feel definitely better about Liz. Right? Like that's cool. Like, oh my gosh, my girlfriend's wise enough to say the same good message as my dad. That's awesome. Yeah. I had someone the other day come up to me, and they said that someone came up to me the other day, and they said that, man, I feel like every time I talk to you, you're doing something different. You keep changing, and they kind of very without indirectly kind of tried to shame me for why don't you just pick something and do it? And I would argue, first of all, number one, I've been a content creator for 4 years. I've been making Strong and Made in Sports for over 2 years. I did pick something. I fucking doing that. But they kind of shamed me for why didn't you stay at the same college? Why'd you go to a different college? We were playing college football. Now you're not. You were with a different girl. Now you have a new girlfriend. Kind of shamed me for the fact that my life has been changing a lot in the last 2 years. And I think that because they said, well, you should just pick something and stick with it. And I think that's so horrible. I think actually their mindset of pick something and stick with it is so unhealthy, kind of. At least it can be. I made changes that all made very good sense to me. And I made changes because it was self-improvement. Every step was getting slightly better. I left my college for a better college. I left my good college for a better situation. I left one relationship for a better relationship. Everything has been improvement. And I think if someone in 2 years doesn't change and make a lot of changes to their life, it's actually kind of a sign of you've grown stagnant. You're unwilling to change. You're unwilling to deal with shit. The person that stays in the bad relationship is the person I go, that's not good. That's not healthy, right? So, what do you think of all that?
I think change is good, and I think that I think if you have a good life, if you have a good career, and your kids are 5 and 6 or 5 and 7, 6 is too close, 5 and 7, and you have a good career, and you got a nice home life, and your wife's good, and you get to play softball once a week or bowling, or you're in a you have
stability in your life,
and things are good.
Yeah.
Then there's nothing to change right then. Enjoy that season.
Yeah.
Because your 5-year-old and 7-year-old sooner than you realize won't want to do Halloween.
Yeah.
They won't want to celebrate birthdays with you. So enjoy that season. So I think there's times when there's stability and goodness and you enjoy those seasons.
Yeah.
So in that sense, that guy or gal doesn't need to change his or her life.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it's important to have ongoing change and to grow.
And little growth and little tweaks. And I think I've had a lot of change.
Get wholer.
Yeah, I've literally physically moved locations of where I sleep at night multiple times, many, many times in the last 2 years. But they've always been for a reason, for a good reason that I'm proud of. And I look back at all the changes I've made in my life. Washington State to PLU to not in college, this to that, all the different jobs, different things, and they all make sense. I can explain all of them. I feel good about all of them. And where I'm at now is fucking awesome. And I'm about to move to Cincinnati. I think they're you're going to fucking move again. They were really what the fuck? Because I went from being shamed to go, hey, yeah, I'm about to move to Cincinnati. And I kind of threw it in their face a little bit. And they're like, oh, what the hell? But Cincinnati's going to be awesome. It's going to be a brief chapter. It's going to be fun.
You're an adventurer going on adventures.
Yeah.
And there may be a season in your life where you don't do that for a while. I'm going to be here for the next 10 years or 5 years, and you're okay with that.
Yep.
But right now you're doing adventures, and that's okay. But for some people, it's unsettling. Do you know, you've heard of the pioneers and the settlers, right?
Mm-hmm.
The settlers would come so far across the Oregon Trail and stop at a city and say, we've come far enough.
Yeah.
And they settled. They didn't come all the way to Oregon.
They stopped in North Dakota or Nebraska or wherever the fuck they stopped.
Yeah, that's the difference between a settler and a pioneer. And it's okay. It's not right or wrong. But for some people, adventurers are unsettling.
I look at, I think Cincinnati is going to be really, really fun. It's
going
to
to love
be
it.
Fast. It's going to be, but it's also going to be tiring. I mean, I don't think it's sustainable for 20 years to do that.
I think you can do one season.
Yeah.
One football, basketball season.
Yeah. But then after that, I think the next step is going to be, I've been thinking a lot about this, right? Maybe, because I really would love to live at the beach. I'd love to live somewhere warm. That'd really be nice. Cincinnati's not warm. I like Cincinnati a lot. It's not that cold. It's less cold than people realize.
And you like snow.
Yeah, it's pretty. I'm gonna really enjoy the cold and the pretty snow of Cincinnati. But then I think the next step for me is in my head been I want to go to the beach after that. And I thought maybe Tampa Bay, maybe Jacksonville. And then the new spot in my head that I think is actually really exciting, and my girlfriend loves it too, is maybe Charleston, South Carolina would be really cool.
That sounds fun.
It's pretty. It's cheap. It's the 6th lowest income tax in America. And it's actually pretty close to the Carolina Panthers, who have a badass head coach I like, which means I could drive 2 hours maybe every couple Sundays, go to a Panthers game and do some media stuff there. Like that'd be and the thought of not traveling like I'm going to really enjoy going to Lambeau Field and Chicago and Tennessee and Pittsburgh, but that's going to be one season. I definitely don't want to live the rest of my life every weekend traveling to another city for a football game.
That's not sustainable.
No, hell no.
All right,
Doing it once and then being done with it.
I'm interested. South Carolina sounds interesting. A lot of culinary stories there.
And you like visiting? It'd be pretty, right?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah.
So let me close with this story
Okay.
because I got to go.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready for my trip to Greece.
Yep.
I go to Macy's. I'm going to get one more shirt.
Yep.
I find the perfect shirt.
What was it?
It's a blue shirt, light blue shirt.
Sure.
Looks like Greece. Greece is
Sure.
blue and white. I walk up, give the lady my debit card. She looks at my card. She looks at me. She puts the card down, but I don't really see what she's doing. She tears off some paper. She says, I need you to sign this. And I go, what? She says, I need you to sign this. And it's like the back of it's like a receipt. And she's put it down this way. And she wants to sign this way. And I go, so I sign it. And she goes, oh, thank you. And I go, what? She goes, I know who you are. And I go, what? She goes, you're Steven Shomler. You do food stuff. I want to get your signature for you're famous. And my kids are fans of your son, Zach.
At Macy's, the lady checking you out?
And I said, well, give me that paperback. I can sign a little neater. I just gave you my normal scrawl. I felt so bad. I just like my signature, just scrawl because I don't care. Sign, sign, sign.
Yeah.
It was so funny. And my kids are fans of your son, Zach. And I was like, this is kind of weird.
It's a new world we live in.
It's a new world. All right. I'm off to Thessaloniki. You're going to be terrible. I don't know how you're going to survive this week without me to guide you around to get to the XFL Stadium, but you'll make it.
I think while you're gone, I'm going to have Nathan Hawthorne come on.
Oh, I love Nathan
Do
Hawthorne.
a podcast with him. That'll be really fun.
Yep. All right. Cheers, everyone.
Love you guys. Bye.